And they're not on the same page to the level that they need to be.
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking as I was watching this game that it seemed to me offensively, especially in the passing game, that they thought things were just going to happen because they happened last week. Yeah. Right? And so when you're playing the worst defensive team against the pass last week and then you're playing the first team this week, it makes it rough because they're not going to give you those things that you thought or assumed that you were going to get just because we lined up and played.
Or they're not going to drop interceptions. Remember how we talked about Baltimore dropping a lot of They didn't.
They didn't do that.
You throw it to them, they caught it.
That's where you get away with some stuff last week that you're not always going to get away with. There were only 3 things really worth watching at the game today. 1 was Myles Garrett. 2 was Corey Bojorquez, who's a punter, and you never really want to buy a ticket to watch that guy having a good day. The other thing was this. I had to get you out of tailgate early.
Oh, man.
And from there, the good times stopped rolling. Wasn't it out here like a month ago?
You're better than played.
It was an easy task. I didn't want to be him. That's why I smashed it so early. Then I did it a 3rd time just to make sure it wasn't nothing there. And you know what? A lot of people don't know, and they told me this. So Flavor Flav, he had the wrong guitar.
I heard something about
this.
He had a real guitar.
Okay.
So he's usually it's just a phony one, easy to break. He had a real one.
He had a real one.
So he up there trying to smash a real wooden stick. Yeah.
Oh, so you're not as strong as I thought you were.
No.
It's just a fake guitar. That's why Josh looked all big and bad. Fake guitar. Right. Browns are a fake defense today. Trick or treat, they came dressed as a football team. 27-10, doors blown off by the Chargers, off and rolling on the Giannino's Pizzeria, 5th quarter.
The Injury Report, sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
All right, Jawan Jones did leave the game with a shoulder injury. He started at left tackle, by the way. He came back. So whatever that was, didn't seem like a big deal. We did get DeWand in the locker room afterwards, so hopefully we'll hear from him coming up a little bit later in the show. Khalil Mack had a leg issue for the Chargers.
Was DeWand Jones playing right tackle at all?
He was playing left.
Left?
He started at left despite Wills. And then Wills came in to relieve him. And then Jones went back.
He went back where?
Left.
Left.
Okay, so I don't know who was that right tackle. but I know Jameis Winston took a sack on a 3-step drop.
One,
Do
two,
we remember
three,
that?
bam.
A 3-step drop.
Yeah, that was
And
Conklin.
I want to. Okay, he opened up 78 is Conklin, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Opened up. I was screaming to the top of my lungs because 3-step in the sweep. But the problem is I know what 3-step and blocking looks like. It's not a set. It's a punch a guy in the mouth and then the ball is gone because it's 1, 2, 3. He took 1, 2, 3 in open set as if it was a 5-step drop. The D line just took faked him outside, came in, and he was on him
like that.
Like that. So just those simple things that we can't do right. 3-step is like the basic. That's like run. That's like line up and run him over.
Yeah.
So when we can't get those things right, I keep seeing these little things happen with this team, and it's still the penalties. Like, it's too much. It's keep happening over and over. Anytime we do something good, we take a step further. 1 step forward, 3 steps back.
I want to hear from, we got Kevin Stefanski, and then we'll come to you, Matt. But this was the Browns head coach. Post-game press conference today after the Browns lost 27-10.
Okay, obviously very disappointed with today. That first half, we just costly mistakes hurt us, and then we just could not dig out of that hole in the second half. So extremely disappointed, and we got to learn from this. With that, I'll take any questions.
What happened on the coverage on those 2 deep touchdown passes?
Yeah, miscommunications. Just we have to be better, and we will be better. But that was you can't. Those are costly. We can't do that.
Same thing both times, Kevin, in terms of...
Yeah, I'd say it's in some ways a miscommunication, yes.
Okay, what did you see from the Chargers defense that seemed to make it so hard for you guys?
Well, it's a good defense. We knew that going into it. They were stout. We weren't good enough on third down in the first half. I think that was a big key, not being able to sustain drives in that first half.
What about Jameis with 3 picks? Obviously, not what you were looking for from him.
No, and again, we knew that team that we're going up against was preying on takeaways in early in the season, so we have to do a better job of taking care of the ball.
Is there any thought in the fourth quarter of putting in DTR?
No, we're just going to continue to fight.
So, Kevin, at 2-7, where do you go from here?
Yeah, I'm not thinking really big picture, Jeff. I'm thinking about we need to play better, bottom line.
Kevin, you went with the one and left tackle again. Jed was not a healthy scratch, but what was the reasoning behind it? Or are you trying to see what you have in Dewan at left tackle?
Well, we moved him over there in that first time over there. I thought he did okay and would do better, so I wanted to keep him over there, keep that development going.
Kevin, you had 2 special teams miscues today. The big return led to a touchdown. The blocked field goal led to a touchdown. Just how disappointing is it to have that unit not play as well as we've seen them?
Yeah, that's we own these, Darryl. Offense, defense, special teams. We have to play better on all 3 sides of the ball. We got to coach better on all 3 sides of the ball, but we own it. It's all of us.
Did you feel like guys were getting open in the passing game?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Obviously, it's not as simple as that in terms of we got to protect, we got to make decisions, all those type of things.
You guys obviously really wanted to build on last week's win and try to keep this thing going a little bit, just being at home. And
yeah, that's why it's very disappointing. I mean, it's tough to not play to our best. That's really frustrating.
Kevin, you get 6 sacks in the first half, you have great pressure, and then you get them in 3rd and long, and they're able to, get those long passes.
Yeah, the 3rd downs in the first half was the key to this game, how we performed on offense, how we performed on defense. We had them some really good distances there, and we had some miscommunications, and it hurt us.
Is there any sign that Herbert benefited from his brother's game the week before?
No.
I mean, were you surprised by something that they shut down?
No.
What do you think you've been unable as a team to kind of sustain any positive momentum that you've gotten?
Well, I think, listen, we're not playing good enough to win a football game, especially in that first half. We did not play well enough. We didn't play well enough on all 3 sides of the ball. So that's our focus, really, more than anything, is finding a way to not beat ourselves, not have costly mistakes, because they will hurt you.
Kevin, there was a report during the game that Darius will be traded to Detroit. Any comment on that?
I don't have any comments on those type of things.
As far as Jameis just kind of slinging around there, trying to get back in the game in the second half, do you fault him in any way for just kind of throwing it around?
I think you learn from every mistake, Mary Kay, and I think there's some plays that I think he can learn from for sure. We were definitely going to play a style to try to get back in that game, more wide open, if you will, just trying to score some points. But I think you learn from every mistake, if you will. But it's something that we have to do a better job of taking care of the ball.
And I know I ask you this every week, and you said that he was your starter for the rest of the season, but now at 2-7 after a game like this, is he still your starter?
Yes, and again, those are the type of things that we just have to play better as a team.
What do you make of Miles' performance today?
Yeah, I thought he played really well. I thought got pressure early and often in that game. Unfortunately, some of those big plays that we gave up, we put ourselves in that hole in the second half. But we were getting off the field quite a bit in the second half. Just didn't sustain it like we need to.
Does this change anything at all about your bye-week plans? I mean, would they have gotten a day off or extra?
No, our plan was already in place.
Good.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, they got to play better. We know. Everybody, offense, defense, players, coaches, everyone in the building. We all have to be better. We all know that. And yes, the big plays are costly. Anything there? I mean, Kevin's pretty good at just toeing the line, saying what you need to say. Don't rock the boat.
When we're talking about the big plays given up on defense, it bothers me that we're still talking about communication issues.
Week 9.
Week 9. We're having communication issues with guys who have been here in this system. Why are we still having these issues in week 9? I don't understand this.
This was 2 years ago. That's what got the DC fired and got Jim Schwartz here.
Right.
Remember, like every game we were talking to John Johnson, the safety, about miscommunication and this, that. It was the storyline of the entire year.
Right.
Came back today, looked exactly the same.
So my problem a lot of times is these coaches are veteran coaches. And I say that to say is they let veteran players who have proved themselves the opportunity and the space to correct certain mistakes that are obvious. Get your communication together, right? And they expect them to do it without even having to say something. A lot of times, I went into a different team when I left the Browns, and they knew I was a good returner. I put emphasis on the special teams coach. Hey, no. You are charged to make me better. I have to become better. So if you don't tell me something, I'm going to get on you.
All right, Browns 27-10 losers. We're still going to hear from Jameis, going to hear from Myles Garrett, a few others after the loss. Giannino's Pizzeria, fifth quarter continues.
Now it's the post-game reaction, sponsored by your local Northern Ohio Buick GMC dealer.
We made those mistakes, so kudos to them for being where they're supposed to be, and we just got to be better. We got to be smarter.
Obviously, you're rushing after Herbert, but how do you explain those miscommunications that led to those 2 long touchdowns?
I can't explain it yet. I have to watch the film, and it's something that we got to be on the same page about. There's just a lot of talk back there, and I think someone thought it was someone else's job, and miscommunication like that at least a big place, and we've seen that before, and we got to just get that corrected.
Miles, you guys had 6 sacks in the first half. You had 3 of them. What did you see in the pressure that you guys were able to apply to Herbert in the first half, especially?
They're one of the best fronts we're going to face all year. So, we have a lot of respect for them, and we're prepared in that way. So, I think we were just ready for what they're going to throw at us. They threw me some one-on-ones, and I made the most of them. But the guys on the interior were also in the pocket, making him where he couldn't step up a lot, and we were just winning when we needed to. They were really making plays.
How deflating is this after the way you guys played last week?
It's tough. It's real disappointing because, just a lot of just self-inflicted errors. Just out of position, beating ourselves. Whether it's out of position on the run where it could really be a tackle for loss, or maybe at worst a 1 or 2 yard gain, or play that could be a pressure, maybe QB hit, get off the field, maybe a sack, things that could change the game. End up being a touchdown there, and it can't be that kind of swing. It can't be where it's touchdown or bust. We got to execute more consistently than that.
Miles, what do you attribute the miscommunications to, though? You guys, it's a veteran team you got out there.
I wish I could tell you. Something we got to communicate and talk about tomorrow. We're going to watch the film. It's going to make us sick to our stomach, but that's something we got to bow up and just we just got to swallow this one. It's a tough loss to swallow, but we really let it slide on defense. We can't expect them to bail us out on offense all the time. Same special teams.
3 sacks, one of the best games of your career, certainly one of the first best halves of your career. How do you balance that with 27-10 loss, or is there a balance? Is it just?
There's no balance. There's just loss.
What keeps you going in, the second half of a game that's getting out of hand in the middle of a 2-7 start?
The chance to change the game. There's always, when there's still time on the clock, I'm still thinking there's a way for myself or for my D-line to take over the game, for us to get a strip sack, get a forced fumble, TFLs, or whatever it is, be disruptive, and to knock them out of their momentum and give us a short field or something. And unfortunately, that didn't come like we wanted. But there were still a lot of big plays made up front and across the defense. But it's got to be more consistent.
Do you worry about wasting a year of your prime in a season like this?
Still halfway through the season. And we still got a lot of time left. 8 games, turn around, go 10-7. First, we got to go 1-0. We go 10-7. Still a way to get into the playoffs, still make some noise, still go to where we want to go. So it's just about this decision being made right now. If we have the men in here who have the character and the pride and the work to do it or not.
So, again, you had mentioned that if you had gotten it to 3-6, it would change the whole atmosphere. So at 2-7, do you really still 100% believe you guys can, one game at a time, still make this happen and achieve your goals this season?
Yes.
And what role do you, as a leader of the team, play in that? Do you send these guys, do you say anything as you head into the bye week about staying on top of their work or anything like that, or how do you approach this?
You don't stay straight too far away from the game, and as the best player in the team, I expect myself to lead by example more than talking and tell everybody what I want. Show them how it's supposed to look, and do as I do.
Miles, take 2 more. You were two of your sacks were in 3 plays, 10 in the first quarter. and then your other sack, obviously, in the first half as well. Do you ever feel like you're in the zone? And was that, if you do, is that the time when you felt that?
Even when plays aren't being, when I'm not making plays, I still feel there are moments in which I'm in the zone, that being one of them. And sometimes, the offense, throws different, looks or, different, guys at me to get me out of my rhythm and to try to get me out the zone. But that was one of the times where it's like in one-on-one, I'm starting to get a beat, I'm starting to figure it out, and then things were just really starting to click. That's when, there's, sometimes tight end, sometimes it's, slide, full slide, halfback. Those things start to, especially when they're moving the ball, start to try to change your rush plan. But once you can really start getting dialed in on what they're trying to do, that helps you really, key in on the rushes that you can use to take over the game.
Does it make it more frustrating when it almost seemed like for a lot of the first half, it was either a sack or
touchdown
or a big pass play? Yeah.
Yeah.
How hard is that to take?
I'd rather have no sacks every game than to continue losing like we are. The stats, are what they are, but I'd rather win every time. So it's frustrating as hell.
There was a report that surfaced in the middle of the game that Z is going to be traded to the Lions by either tonight or tomorrow. I know you said you don't want that to happen, but do you feel like maybe after a loss like this, it's
I got no idea. I don't look into the rumor mill or trade rumors. I focus on my job here and getting this team out of the hole we're in and keeping these guys together. All the talk outside of this team has nothing to do with me and nothing to do with us.
Why hasn't the team been able to sustain the momentum whenever you've had a little bit of success this year? Haven't been able to capitalize on that.
Got to just keep our head down and stick to the work. I feel like sometimes we get a little bit too high and get we start feeling good about a win. We're nowhere near where we want to be. We got to stay consistent in our demeanor and how we're attacking each and every day. Sometimes we get a little bit too high. We get a little bit full of ourselves, and that takes away from the kind of preparation that we need to get wins like this.
All right, I got to react to the end of it. How does a 2-6 team get full of themselves?
I don't understand it because I appreciate Miles as the leader and the best player on the team saying that he feels like there's still a chance, but there's nothing that we've seen throughout the course of this season that says there is a chance, right? And so, full of yourself at 2-7.
They were 2-6 coming in, and they got a little big in the head.
When you beat a division team, right, and you make a change from Deshaun to Winston, and then the defense shows up, home game, division, and you feel like this may be the turning point. That is the full of themselves because that's how they're supposed to have played the whole season, though. And they did it against a good Baltimore team that was putting up so many points offensively, they shut them down defensively. And then we scored over the 20-point threshold, 29 points. James went over 333 yards, so forth and so forth. But I had just said something about Myles Garrett. He stood up there longer than Stefanski. And your response was because he's giving real answers. And Eric, I think that's the most what we can expect. He's saying the right things.
Yeah.
Yes, the players are supposed to think that they can win out. Even though we don't believe it, and they've not shown the fans that, he's giving real answers. That's how they should feel.
Yeah.
And it just needs some more accountability, right? He needs to go to some players, and then a lot of times he needs to go to some of the veterans. Like, look, man, you messing up. Accountability.
We're going to hear from, it's Jameis Winston, the Browns quarterback, today in the 27-10 loss at the podium.
James, we talked to Miles a few minutes ago, and he was saying that, the defense had so many issues in the first half. It's not fair to ask the offense to try to dig out of that kind of hole that they put you in. So just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Complimentary football wins day in and day out. And as a quarterback, my job is to lead our team to get in the end zone, and we didn't do that enough.
Jameis, in the second half, when those interceptions started coming, what did you see on each of those plays?
The first one, just got to get the ball 2 feet higher. You know, that's a good play. The other two, just unfortunate events, man. My two on the same exact route, just had some unfortunate things happen.
And after the nice game that you guys all had last week, and you were hoping to build on it this week, going into the bye, just how hard is this one to take for you?
Yeah, we're going to assess the tape. I know me personally, man, like I said, my faith not wavering. Like I still believe. I still know what this team and this offense and this defense is capable of doing. The biggest thing is we have to eliminate plays that beat us. And I had 3 of them. And we all know the plays that we can help this team out with. So that's just accountability. And I think we're going to embrace that, and having a week to really digest how we can get better is required.
How big is this bye week for you guys, as much mentally as anything?
Man, anytime you head into a bye week, it's about studying yourself, self-scouting, looking in the mirror and saying, like, hey, what can I do to help this team? Personally, together, like, and that's my main focus. Like, what can I do to get better to help this team? And I challenge the other guys to do that as well.
What were the Chargers doing defensively that made it so tough for you guys, especially in that first half when I think you had 57 yards?
They were playing sound football, and we have to, when they're playing sound football, we have to get completions, and we have to be able to matriculate the ball down the field little by little. And that's it.
How deflating was that first drive in the third quarter? You guys take 8 minutes off the clock and, obviously end with the interception.
Yeah, I done played this game a long time, and I know that play right there is still living in my head. Like, I have to make a better ball right there, and we score right there. The momentum changes, and this game probably has a different outcome. But that's what my focus is one play at a time. And that's what it's like. Like that one play, we have to make the most of the one play. The Browns have to win that one play, and I didn't do that on that play.
So just before that play was the slant to Tillman. What happened there? Just
I mean, it's one play at a time. We just got to continue to get better. We have to continue to look internally as a whole. Individually, and find a way to overcome this. Like, man, we can do this. We can endure. We can persevere. And because I've been here before, it's not my first rodeo. So I know it's required.
Jameis, what did you see on that touchdown pass to Cedric, and how he took the speed?
He was 1-on-1, and he made an amazing grab. That's what he's capable of doing. So I'm happy that we were able as an offense to finish with a touchdown.
You just said that you've been here before. So how do you bounce back from a 3-interception game?
You bounce back one play at a time. One play at a time, because that's really all that matters.
James, what keeps players persevering through the second half, and you're down 2 scores, you're 2-6 start?
It's one play at a time. Like you never know which play is going to be the play to spring you forward, and there's that faith that, like, this is the play, and that laser focus on executing this play right here is required.
Have you been on a team that's sort of in this situation, maybe not 2-7, but close to the situation, and has been able to turn it around and get things going?
I believe I have. My first year in Tampa, we strung together some wins at the end of the year, and it's really just about staying together. And I believe we got good leaders in this locker room. And I know me personally, I'm going to continue to challenge the guys and lift the guys up. I know how this game is, man. This is a game that it goes week by week. This is a tale of 2 weeks, so I will continue to endure. If you weren't by my faith, it's still unwavering, and we're gonna find a way to get better and improve from this.
All right, this was Jameis today. 26-46, 235, 3 picks, a touchdown. He was sacked 6 times. One of the picks, they were kind of talking about it there in the It was a tip pick in the end zone. It doesn't happen if Tillman doesn't drop a ball. He's been so good for us. I'm not trying to rip him, but that's a play they needed to make.
Especially at that time of the game. It was third quarter. That touchdown
keeps it interesting.
Would have made it 20-10.
Yeah.
And so with a lot of time to play, the defense was doing okay by then. And so there's an opportunity for them to go back and get in this game, but you don't make the play in the first play and see what the results that happen in the second.
I love him. I like Winston, right? We all love him. But he wasn't making those plays. Yes, Tillman, he's not going to throw his guys under the bus.
Right.
He didn't throw him under the bus, and you saw him kind of talk around about it, and that's a good quarterback. But him speaking, he didn't make that throw in the back of the end zone. He would have had to make that receiver jump up in the back of the end zone. He just didn't make the throw several times. So now knowing that, the play calling has to change. So hopefully we can see that, next game.
See in the next game, which is in 2 weeks, because they have a bye. Next week, they could use the Sunday off. The Giannino's Pizzeria fifth quarter continues. Browns 27-10 losers to the Chargers.
I got to make the play simple. To win these games, we got to have that.
Sorry if you asked this already, but going into the bye week, not the results you wanted, what's the team's mindset coming into that week of rest?
We don't have time to rest. We can rest our bodies, but mentally we got to get ready for our next opponent.
What did you see from Jameis out there, especially as you guys were trying to make that rally in the second half?
He kept fighting. Great leader, great guy. He gave his all today. I'm proud of him.
What can the bye week maybe do for you guys in terms of, like you say, getting healthy, but just being able to sort of rally the rest of the way afterwards?
Like I said, just kind of those nippy injuries, get those 100% healed so we can rally on the second half of the season.
Did they do anything defensively you weren't expecting?
They kind of did some stuff to me that, I figured was going to come eventually. They were kind of playing inside of me a lot hard, so.
Is that just stuff you expect as you get more targets coming your way?
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat. I think everybody knows I've been catching a lot of slants and breakers, so, simple.
Is that a part of your own evolution, is how to adjust to that?
Yeah. I'm taking it one game at a time, so, I'm just trying to get used to it. But no excuses, got to keep going, and I got to keep doing my job.
Seth, what do you think is important to keep the collective focus as you guys are at 2-7 now?
Just don't pay attention to the record, don't pay attention to the outside noise, good or bad. Put our heads down and try to get some wins.
group.
All right, so that's Tillman today, and he said, "Hey, I've had success. The league adjusted."
Well, we had this conversation about him earlier in the tailgate, and is he the guy?
Or is he the guy for now?
Or is he the guy for now? If he's going to be the guy, he has to make that catch at the goal line. If you're going to be the guy, you're going to get hit. Catch the ball and then get hit. He's having these opportunities and getting a lot of targets now. So you have to go out there and make plays and make it easier on the quarterback if you're going to be the guy.
No matter what's going on right now with the football team, he's in the best spot because he gets to figure out what he can do for the remainder of the year apart from anybody else. We're not letting go of him. We're not trading him. He's probably the safest person on the roster right now that can develop and become the number one before the end of the year. He can start next week after the bye and have an awesome rest of the year and ball out.
Yep.
I think if he progresses, he can be that guy.
Giannino's Pizzeria fifth quarter continues after this.
Obviously not the outcome you want. What's the mindset with the bye week up next?
Probably just to get healthy. Everybody get healthy, take a little breather, and come back ready to work.
What happened in this one that taking the momentum from that last win? Why did this one get away from you guys?
I gotta watch the tape. Let's see.
With the trade deadline approaching, are you looking at some of the guys that may not be here?
No, we don't do that over here.
What makes you confident that you guys can keep a good mindset in that bye week?
We're a good team, we just beat ourselves, Bear words, we make mistakes that we can't afford, and we just gotta just do better. Okay.
Yeah.
David Njoku, I think, always does a really good job of being obviously very frustrated, but keeping his composure through those types of conversations. That guy's played through a lot of bad football. He wants to win.
What he says, we're a good team. We just haven't done some things. You're not a good team. You have good players. There's a difference. There's a big difference between being a good team and having good players. We haven't seen them gel and play as a team, but maybe one game, which was last week. Yeah. Throughout the course of the season, you have a lot of good players who've gone out there and done some good things, but they haven't been a good team throughout.
Right, and what we would like to see from these guys is all that accountability show up in the win column or show up in the, I've progressed, I've shown through my play. I went out there and caught every target that was, on my hands, and that creates an opportunity for other guys to see them doing good or practicing, and then they follow suit. So more accountability across the whole team. That'll affect not just the players, but the coaches as well. So, I like to see the players, frustrated, because it lets us know, hey, they care.
Right.
They're not just like thinking about going out and having fun and just, they should be upset. And when I see that, I know they care, and I'm excited to still root for them. Even if I don't think they're going to win, I'm excited to still root for them, just like the fans rooted for us through many terrible seasons.
You don't want to do these interviews, you're right. Guys sound like they could care less. They're the same guy, win or lose. You certainly don't want to see that. Njoku clearly cares and enjoyed it when they tasted success last year, and it just hasn't been there this year. We are not done yet. More to come. Giannino's Pizzeria fifth quarter continues right after this.
Left. How did this one feel?
It felt good, like I said earlier, I take just lessons and, everything from Jed, just turn it over to the game, he gives me a lot of pointers, and just watch other good tackles too, and that's the main thing.
When did you find out that you were starting today?
I've been starting for a week, so, I kind of know whatever day it was, so, it wasn't no surprise to me.
This is obviously not the outcome you guys want, 2-7 on the season. Going into a bye week, what's the team's mentality?
Like I said earlier in the interview, we need to put our hard hat on, say forget who next to us and who across from us, just, do our job and just block them.
It's not something you guys want to think about, like the bye week or the trade deadline is right around the corner. Is that something you try to avoid thinking about, some guys maybe not being here in just a couple days?
It's definitely sad. You work hard with guys and you just never know where they're going to end or what happens, just because of the team odds right now. But it's not my business, so, I can only just do my job.
All right, Dwan Jones. There was a little drama with Stefanski during the week. He said he wouldn't announce his left tackle until 1 o'clock on Sunday. He said he knew he was going all week. He's been fine. Like, for a position that's so important and everything, he's been great.
Yeah, and when I look at this, in the beginning of the season, when I looked at this offensive line, I thought that he would be the perfect guy. I mean, to play left tackle. I thought that's where he should be. He shouldn't be second team right tackle. He should be left. That gives us the best opportunity to block opposing defenders. And so he'll get better. He hasn't done it. I mean, and he has to be coached This is what we want. We want coaching. You had Bill Callahan, one of the best coaches to ever do it in this league, and now he no longer has those guys. So now the coach now has to really coach these guys, especially when you're moving them to on the other side, into the most important position when we're talking about the passing game.
That's my issue, though. You know, I don't think DeJuan Jones really is playing bad. I think it's the lack of coaching. He's a young guy. This is year 2 for him. Coach the hell out of him, right? And you see small wins by not hearing his name. He doesn't show up on the film. Right. That's him winning. Yes. When we don't hear about him. We didn't hear about him today. That's why I was like, was that DeJuan on the other side getting beat? Nope.
The only time you heard his name was when he went out with an injury and then came back. He also said Joel Bitonio has been a big help to him on that side. We'll hear from Joel straight ahead on the Giannino's Pizzeria 5th quarter.
Was it just one of those days where, you know, the plays just weren't going?
Yeah, it's hard to say, you know. We obviously got in a little bit of a hole there, and then we didn't have the game going great, so we tried to pass our way out of it, and they have some good pass rushers, you know, on their side, and it seemed like they were, you know, it felt like when we ran the ball a few times, they had some pressure off the edges coming. That was kind of unaccounted for a few times, and, you know, but we had a chance. Like, if we had gone down and scored that first drive of the second half, get it within, you know, a couple scores, see what happens. Our defense played pretty lights out in the second half, so it would have given us a chance. It's just tough. They've been playing good all year. They haven't let anybody score over 20 points. We knew it was a challenge. We just didn't execute good enough this week.
How much needed is this bye week right now, just to rest your bodies and kind of just mentally just take a break?
Yeah, it'd been great if we could have got a win and go into it, but it's needed. You know, you play 9 straight games, plus training camp. You know, at least to me, I'm a little bit beat up. So it come at a good time for me. Hopefully guys mentally refreshed and try and lock in. You never know what's going to happen this league. Like, obviously we're in a bad spot right now, but if we can win a couple, see what happens down the stretch.
Do you feel like...
All right. They have to say that. Nobody outside of that clubhouse really thinks they're going to do anything. But yeah, to your point earlier, they got to say that. And yes, you don't quit. Trade deadline, Tuesday. I've got to believe Zadarius Smith gets moved to Detroit or somewhere, but they're the clubhouse leader right now for him.
Yeah, even though that they're supposed to believe that they're supposed to win every game, this upper management, Andrew Berry and crew and company, they have to believe and prepare for not just next week and the week after, but 2025. They got to prepare capital. That's just what is. Those are facts. We got to prepare for next season at the same time next week.
Because they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to do anything this year. And so Zadarius Smith gives you the best opportunity to get that capital that you're talking about. And so you probably got to do it.
Go ahead.
And for our fans, I don't believe they should blow this thing up. If you got to keep Deshaun.
Yeah.
You can't just leave him out there with nothing. There are pieces to the puzzle we have to add to this team to keep us a nucleus, to give us the best chance. It doesn't involve blowing it up. It just does not. And when you talk about a guy like Zadarius, he can be replaced. He can be replaced through the draft and through another trade if we need it. But if we have time.
And that's the thing. People hear trades and they sell everybody off. It's targeted. You say, can this guy help us next year? Or this guy help us in 2 years? And if the answer is no, trade him because the season's over. If it's somebody like, this is why you're not trading Myles Garrett. You're not trading Joel Bitonio. Those guys, are going to be here next year and be able to help you.
Just like Amari Cooper. He wasn't going to be here next year.
Right.
We can't win. We couldn't win no further. We're not playing for a playoff. So it'll be guys that can help other teams right now. And in return, we can get some draft picks, some draft capital. And that's how it works. So it's not like we're bringing people here. We got to get out the mindset that we're trying to bring somebody here to help us win now. Nope. We're going to be getting and gaining draft capital.
And I'm with you. You don't blow the whole thing up. You just
target.
You target some things. You trade some guys to get capital that helps your team. You're trying to improve this team. This team is not who we thought it was going to be, but you need this team to get better because they do have good players who can be good as a team.
We trade for Callahan back.
I don't think that's happening. He's working with his kid. Here's the thing. Say they trade a guy, they get a 5th-round pick. You're like, oh, whip-de-doo sports review. What's that? It might not necessarily be what you do with that pick, or maybe you take the 5th, you pack it with a 4th, you move up in the 3rd round, you get a guy that you have a 2nd-round grade on that slipped to the 3rd round. It's not necessarily about getting that pick and burning that pick. It's how does that help you get the guys you need? Take a look at the standings. Or the scores today, excuse me. Bengals 41-24 winners. Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns in this game, came within a whisker of 6. Ravens absolutely blowtorched the Denver Broncos. It was so bad, Bo Nix, I would think, caught the only touchdown for Denver. Didn't throw it. He caught it. Steelers on bye. These were that's the Steelers in first place. We don't have the updated records there, but Steelers at 6-2, still in front of the AFC North division.
I like your adjectives, blowtorched. Yeah, those adjectives. I want to use that for us.
Go ahead, that's on the house.
I was going to say what the Ravens showed is they lost and they bounced back. They came back with a winner's mentality.
Yeah.
Whereas we beat the Ravens and we come back
Cadillac.
Kind of like a loser's mentality. Like we're just going to show up and win now because we beat the Ravens.
And the Steelers are
this is the NFL.
Number 1. And that's coaching to me. They're just lucking up with great coaching.
They're never bad.
No,
they're never bad.
But because of coaching.
Sure.
Because of coaching.
This hurts them though in the draft in the sense that they can never get the quarterback.
Right.
They got Roethlisberger the one year because he just kind of fell to the middle of the first round.
Because he was a Matt Collins.
Right. That's how
quarterback.
Right. That's how they. Otherwise, they're stuck in this. You did?
I beat him in college.
There you go.
Hey, but Tomlin's ego is too big to tank, so they can get a quarterback. He's like, I'm not losing games just to get a quarterback.
Hey, then it's it is what it is. Browns lose today. 27-10 to the Chargers at the stadium. It was ugly, it was gross, and you won't have to watch it next week because they're on bye. Hopefully they get some things fixed so we can have a little more fun on this type of show. For Josh Cribbs and Eric Metcalf, I'm Mark Schwab. See ya!
They put it on just